Hey guys, Smiley's here. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I'm bringing you an OU battle anyways because I just love you guys that much. Now, I'm using a OU team that I showed off before. It's my sub-split Gengar team. I had this battle a while ago. The ladders have been reset probably like twice by now. But yeah, his team is pretty balanced. His biggest threat is by far the Tornadus Therian, as the only switch I sort of have for it is Heatran, and if that goes down, well, I'm kind of screwed. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to play around it somehow. But let's get on with the match. This is a long one, guys. I hope you brought your popcorn. He leads off with Celebi. I lead off with Amoonguss, and expect to see this a lot because it happens a lot. And he goes for Stealth Rocks to begin the match. A typical first move, as I go for Spore, and I decide to double Spore at this point, predicting a switch. Now after this, I don't want his Celebi to wake up and do something to my Amoonguss like Psychic it, so I switch into Heatran as he goes into Politoed, probably predicting me to do that. A good play. Now, I switch out into Amoonguss now, predicting him to be the defensive set. I always predict Politoads really to be the defensive set because most of them are defensive. And Amoonguss can take Scalds for days. Doesn't matter if the rain's up or not. And I go for the Spore here. Now, I'm pretty sure he's not going to expect me to do double Spore again. But I do. And this is very crucial. Probably the most crucial play of the game. Putting his Tornadus Therian, his biggest threat, to sleep. Out of commission. Oh my god, that is so awesome. Now he switches into Jirachi as I go into Gengar here. Now I decide to go for the substitute as he sets up a Calm Mind. Now I'm like, oh shit. Sub Calm Mind Jirachi has ruined my life so many times. I honestly thought that he might sweep me from here. But he goes for the substitute after I Shadow Ball. And I don't know why he did that. Maybe he thought that my Shadow Ball would do less than 25% after one Calm Mind. But it doesn't, and he ends up losing HP that he probably would want to have. And I decided to go for Shadow Ball again. I am under a sub, as he decides to just go ahead and break it this turn. And the next turn, I don't want him to go for substitute again, so I go for Shadow Ball. If he goes for sub, it's good for me, but he decides to just take out my Gengar. I didn't want to take any unnecessary risk at that point. Now here, I bring in my Garchomp. I'm faster than him, so I could just go for the safe Earthquake, which is what I do. Don't want to lock myself in the Outrage. Dragon Claw, not doing anything. Fire Blast, it's under the rain, it's not going to do anything. So, let's go straight for the safe Earthquake. Celebi takes nothing from that. I switch into Heatran as he U-turns out again. Now at this point, he just goes straight into his Jirachi, which is weird. I thought he should probably go into Politoed. It's probably a better counter. He goes for Water Pulse, gets the Confusion. I do get hit in Confusion, which is unfortunate. I was going for the Earth Power, and that definitely would have taken him out. Now this... Sorry, excuse me. He goes for the Calm Mind. I'm very surprised that this Earth Power actually KO'd him, but I'm really glad that it did. It saved me a lot of trouble. At this point, I just decide to get up Stealth Rocks, just as a last hurrah for Heatran. It's going to die of Stealth Rocks on switching anyways, and so it's really the most useful thing I could do. At this point, I go into Gyarados because I'm pretty sure he can't touch me under a sub, and he goes for Toxic, revealing that he really can't. However, I go for the Dragon Dance here, and he reveals he has the Encore. Now, this is going to be a problem throughout the rest of the match. I go for the Dragon Dance again because I want to see what his answer for Gyarados is. So it's Celebi, and that is very important to me throughout the rest of this match. I probably shouldn't have gone for this third Dragon Dance. Probably should have gone straight into Amoonguss. But he does go for the Perish Song, and that does reveal that. And another annoyance throughout the match, basically. Now here I switch out to Amoonguss. I'm encored in the Dragon Dance. No reason to stay in at this point. As he recovers for some reason. It's kind of obvious I was going to switch. I think he probably should have just gone for the U-turn. As he does now. Goes into his Tentacruel, knowing that he can just take any hit from this Amoonguss. Fortunately, I did decide to go for the Stun Spore, predicting him to U-turn out into something else. And I get a Tentacruel paralyzed, which is awesome. Now I go straight into Gyarados here, as he decides to rapid spin away my rocks. At this point, I can't do anything about that. My Gengar is unfortunately dead. So I decided to go for a substitute here, knowing his Tentacruel cannot touch me, similar to his Politoed. And at this point, I'm not going to fall for the same old tricks. I go for bounce, as he goes for encore. Now at this point, I found this play really weird. I hit him with the bounce, and he goes for the encore, encoring me in the bounce. And I don't know why he did that. I can't come up with a possible reason why he would want to encore me in the bounce. It's just gonna, his Politoed's gonna die anyway. Now at this point, I'm gonna speed up a little bit because it's just me bouncing, him scalding, me bouncing, him scalding for a little while. And eventually his Politoed will go down. Not at this point, fortunately. Encore ends here. Doesn't really matter. I get the bounce, get the paralyze. Paralyze doesn't make a difference at all in this battle. He scalds, finally breaks my sub, and I finish him off with a waterfall. Now at this point, I will slow the battle down as he brings in his Tentacruel. Now here I go for sub again. And he goes for sub of his own, revealing him to probably be the sub-toxic set, which is very annoying. Fortunately, Gyarados can handle it because it is under a sub. Now I decide to go for a Dragon Dance, as he gets paralyzed this turn. Probably just going for a Scald. I don't know what else he would really be doing, but it probably wouldn't have made a difference anyways. Now I go for the bounce here because it's the best play I can make at this point. Doesn't want to celebrate, take a +1 bounce. Goes back into Tentacruel. His Tentacruel takes a hefty chunk from this bounce, which is awesome. At this point, he decides to switch back into his Celebi as I go for the waterfall. Probably should have gone for the bounce again. Would have been a better play, but I didn't honestly think he'd switch back into Celebi after seeing me use bounce. At this point, I do use bounce as he does go for Perish Song. Now, coming up is the pretty much only bit of hacks that really meant anything in this battle, as I do end up missing the bounce, which would have definitely KO'd this Tentacruel. And now at this point, I cannot go for bounce again because my Perish count is 2, and at the end of the bounce, I will unfortunately go down. So, forced to just go for a waterfall, get whatever damage I can. I'm going to perish next turn, so now I have to switch. He knows that. What am I going to switch into? Amoonguss, of course. So he goes for the U-turn. Really the best play he could have done. I definitely had to switch there. Would not want to lose my Gyarados. Now this turn, it's kind of pointless. I kind of stay in here. Just go for a Giga Drain randomly. I really don't know why I did this. I honestly can't explain why. He just goes for Scald. It's really bad for me because if he got in the burn, that would have been more residual damage on my Amoonguss. And of course, no one wants residual damage on their Amoonguss. So I switch back in the Gyarados as he does get paralyzed here. Now that might have mattered because if he had Scald burned me, I probably would have lost pretty much there and now because my Gyarados is very much key to me winning this battle if I will win this battle. So I sub as he goes into Celebi. And at this point, I think I'm going to speed up again because it's just him bouncing. He is for Perish Song once again, and it's pretty much just an endless cycle. And go for bounce. I do get the crit there, which makes up for the previous miss. So pretty much the hacks balance itself out. This is really one of the rare battles which I do see that. Can go for bounce again. Perish count 2. Goes for cover for some reason. I don't know why. I'm in Amoonguss again. And yeah, it's just pretty much a kind of a stally point at this battle. I'm going to slow it down here because he does bring in his Tornadus Therian at this point. Now, that being asleep at that point is huge. If that wasn't asleep, he could have hurricaned my entire team. I had nothing to take a hurricane. So, turn 6, when I put that Tornadus to sleep, might have been the crucial play of this entire battle. Now, I go into Garchomp, kind of to break the, I don't know, monomony of this thing. It's just, ugh. Go for Outrage, just disappointing damage to the Celebi. And Mamoswine goes for Ice Shard to finish me off. But I can't go into Terrakion. He can't take me out with Amoonguss, with Mamoswine, because I'm faster than him. So I'm able to 2 KO this Tornadus Therian, and that is this biggest threat out of the picture. Oh man. I breathed a sigh of relief when that thing fainted. Oh my god. But I cannot kill this Celebi with a close combat. I'm forced to go back into Amoonguss as he U-turns into Mamoswine. As he goes for the Icicle Spear at this point, which I don't usually see Icicle Spear on Mamoswine. It's really useful for something like Dragonites with multi-scale and stuff, but I just don't see it very often. He does take out my Mugus, but I'm able to freely go into my Terrakion. Now I go for close combat here, and the reason I go for close combat is I thought that it would 2-hit KO Celebi from half, but after leftovers, it appears to me that I cannot. Now I think max damage would have, but I did not want to risk it at all at this point, so I switch into Gyarados as he is able to get off the recover. Not too big of a deal, as at this point I am able to Dragon Dance immediately. Now the reason I did Dragon Dance immediately is because I know he's going to go for Perish Song, and if I had sub there, I could not Dragon Dance and then go for the bounce, because my Gyarados would have bitten the dust. So that Dragon Dancing there immediately is definitely what won me this game, because my Gyarados will not die at the end of this bounce. He goes into Mamoswine. It cannot take a +1 bounce, and at this point I have the game won. All I have to do, let my Gyarados die to Perish Song, and then bring in my Terrakion and finish off the Celebi with an X Scissor. Oh man, this battle has been so long. I hope I did not bore you guys with this commentary, but this battle was very good. I will tell you that when I saw Kidogo on the ladder after I... Oh, something in my eye. Sorry, guys. But when I saw Kidogo on the ladder after I beat him, I saw that his ladder ranking was 7, and I'm assuming he was number 6 before I beat him. And so this is probably my best accomplishment that I've achieved, beating someone in the top 10 on the ladder. I felt really good. Yeah, that's probably why this battle was very good. But I hope you guys weren't too bored by this. This has been Smileyz. Rate, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one, which hopefully will not be like 12 minutes long.